Once again, Destined to be Goblin goes international. Today we are taking a trip to my personal motherland, Poland. Hello, Goblins and Goblinettes. Welcome back to another edition of Destined to be Goblin. Destined Goblin here. This is where I will try a food product of some kind, maybe something you didn't even know existed, and I will decide whether or not I should give it my Destined Goblin seal of approval. Alright, I have been mentioning how many international markets Mrs. Goblin and I have been able to find out here in California, in San Francisco. However, when we were up in Maine, in the New England area, we managed to find a little Polish deli, and I was very excited about that because, as I have mentioned a few times on this channel, I am 100% Polish. I was born in America, however, my grandparents all came directly from Poland, so I have very close ties to the area itself. Never been there, would like to do that someday. Personally, have never had a chance to get there yet. What I have here today are 4 items, all made in Poland, all directly from that little Polish deli that we found. I believe it was in Salem, Massachusetts. I think it was in Salem where we found it. And I'm going to try all of those, and I believe all 4 of these, all 4 of these are actually sweet items. So nothing savory today. I do have my Winchester Mystery House mug loaded up with some nice cold milk there. I thought that would be a good accompaniment for these sweet items. So let us dig in and see what we have. All right, we're going to start with a company called Krakus. And these are cookies. These are gingerbread in chocolate with icing. So you can see right there, they are dipped in chocolate, and they have that icing all over the top. This pack at that deli cost us $4.99. These are 240 calories for 2 cookies. So let's open these up and let's see what these are all about. I am very familiar with Polish food. I'm very familiar with home-cooked Polish food. However, a lot of the products that you would get on grocery stores that are manufactured in Poland, that are sold in Poland, those are things that I have not really tried very often. So I am excited to try these things. These cookies are enormous. They're heart-shaped. There we go. They feel very light. As big as that is, they feel very light. Again, 240 calories, I believe I said. 240 calories for 2 of these cookies. That's pretty big. There's a lot there. You can kind of hear that icing. This is a very hard shell icing there. I'm anticipating that this cookie is probably going to be fairly airy just because of the fact that this is so light. This is so big, but yet it feels so light. Icing on the top, chocolate on the bottom, supposed to be gingerbread cookie. Let's try it. Oh, not at all what I thought. Very soft. You get the crunch of the icing. It's that hard shell icing, the hard shell chocolate on the bottom. You bite into that, you get that crunch of the icing and the chocolate. But then as soon as you get into the cookie is very soft. It's a nice, soft bite. The chocolate is the predominant flavor that you get at first. You sort of get that icing flavor in there as well. It's just sort of a sweetness. And then the gingerbread develops as you chew. And you really don't get that gingerbread flavor until you've gotten a little bit further into it. These are fantastic. I've said in the past that I like gingerbread when it is a big, bold flavor. This is not a big, bold gingerbread flavor to start with. But by the time you've chewed this, by the time you swallow it, you are left with a very strong taste of gingerbread in your mouth. The other thing I really like about this is, as you can tell, I've been handling this cookie for quite a while now, and that chocolate and that icing is not coming off at all. So that is on there good. It is not melting in my fingers. This is a really good cookie. All right, let's do a little palate cleanse and let's move on. This next one is from, apparently this company is called Happy. I thought maybe it was Nero, Happy Nero, but I think maybe the Nero is the type of cookie that this is. I could be wrong about this. I'm not exactly sure. But there's another picture there, and that just says Happy. So I think the company, I'm really not sure now, though. It says on the side, Happy Nero. Okay, there's some interesting stuff going on with this one. First of all of the ingredient information is written in several different languages all over this bag. I finally located the English version, and it was hard to see because it was sort of folded in like that. But these are actually wafers with milk hazelnut filling with milk chocolate and chocolate flakes. And they actually have percentages. There's 50% filling, 12% chocolate flakes, so it's kind of interesting. Calorie counts I actually cannot really find on here. Not exactly sure what all of that is. But the interesting thing about this is the different languages that this is written in. There is the English, there's Polish, I recognize the Polish on here. There's also a lot of Arabic, some type of an Arabic dialect here, because there are characters that I recognize from Arabic writings. So kind of interesting. It says that these definitely are manufactured in Poland, but apparently they have a pretty big distribution for this product. Let's just go ahead and open these up. These are wafers with hazelnut filling and milk chocolate flakes. So many times I open up these bags and I have no idea what to expect on the inside. I absolutely did not expect to find individually wrapped pieces inside. So you never know what you're going to find in these. These were $3.99 for this bag. And there's a fair amount of these little wafers in there. So let's take a closer look at one. So there we go. It's got that Happy logo on it. Let's open this up. Okay, there it is. Again, this is a wafer, so something very close to a cookie is what we're talking about here. But it also reminds me a lot of a candy. Just the shape, the size, the way I can feel the chocolate sort of melting in my fingers. This one is melting. Let's just go ahead and try this. I was hoping to keep that together a little bit better to get a better look at the inside, but it is very crumbly. These are very small. That went by pretty quick. I'm going to try one more. I've mentioned many times I love hazelnut. Hazelnut is one of my favorite flavors. These are very good. You've got that creamy nuttiness of that hazelnut filling. You've got those little sprinkles of the milk chocolate on top. And the chocolate overall is a very good flavor on this. It's a good milk chocolate. Those little sprinkles give it a little bit of a different texture. And then you get that crunch of that wafer. Those are very good. Okay, this one is chocolate and cherry. This is jelly in chocolate. There is very little English on this package. There's not even any English ingredients written on here. And it says that it is manufactured in Poland. And yeah, there we go. Jelly in chocolate. These were $3.49 for this package. So let's open this up and let's see. I guess these are called Mela. Actually, as I was opening that up, I noticed that there is an English label on here. These are chocolate-coated cherry jelly. So nothing as far as a cookie, anything like that. Simply jelly coated in chocolate. 140 calories for 3 pieces. This one has a nifty little top to open there. We've got more writing on the inside. Of course, it's all in Polish. Oh, here we go. Mela, before you reach out for it, relax and imagine. Sweet, delicate jelly, savor its excellent fruity flavor, immersed in high-quality Goplana chocolate. Goplana, we share our love for chocolate. So apparently the company is actually Goplana. There we go. And look at that. They are all individually nestled in little holders in there. Just pick one out at random. Again, this is chocolate-coated cherry jelly. There's a closer look at that. And did it say milk chocolate? It just says chocolate. It's a little bit darker than I would anticipate for milk chocolate. So I am assuming this is very close to dark chocolate, some percentage of dark chocolate. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. That jelly is almost gummy. If you like chocolate-coated gummy items, I've seen those before. I've never actually tried one. I've seen chocolate-coated gummy bears, stuff like that. This has to be very similar to that because that jelly it's soft enough that you can easily chew through that. Flavor is very good. It's a strong cherry flavor on it. There's a little note of something a little bit different. Let me try this again. There's the slightest taste of something artificial there. And I'm not sure if it's coming from the jelly or the chocolate, but it's throwing me off just a little bit. I'm going to try one more of those. Actually, that second bite that I had, I didn't notice it as much as I did the first time, but let's try it again. Yeah, there's a little something there, whether it's a sugar or a seasoning of some kind that they've used in there, throws off a little bit of that artificial flavor to it, and makes this just rank just a little bit lower because of that, but still very good. All right, we have one more item to taste. Okay, the last one is a little bit of a change of pace. It is actually a jam. This is $3.29 for this jar that we got at that Polish deli. This is gooseberry and kiwi fruit flavor. And the company, I never learned to speak Polish. I've always had a very difficult time with the words, but I believe that would be Lowitz. I'm sure that's wrong. And it says, "We have mastered our recipes for your favorite fruit jams. We have been making jams for 50 years. This is a 1 tablespoon serving, which will cost you 20 calories. And it is made from gooseberries, kiwi fruit, and then different sugars and things like that. So let's go ahead and give this one a shot. Okay, I'm just going to taste this one with a spoon. There is a look at it in the jar. You can see that there are huge pieces of fruit in there. Again, we're talking about a jam, not a jelly. So we are going to get larger pieces of fruit, bigger chunks, and things like that. Gooseberry and kiwi. Here we go. Definitely one of my favorite flavors. I absolutely love kiwi. Gooseberry, I can't say that I am very familiar with. But when I saw this, I said, I have to give this one a shot. This is interesting. It's sweet, but it's not overly sweet. You get a lot of flavor from the kiwi. And then I'm assuming that those big chunks are the gooseberries. And it's interesting there because the texture is almost like a little diced piece of pear. There's a firmness to it when you bite into it. I think this would be fantastic on pancakes. I think this would be a great topping for pancakes. This is a winner. I am so glad I picked this one up. I think there's a lot of things I'm going to be able to do with this, even on a cracker or a piece of toast, but I really think pancakes is the way to go with this one. Well, there we go. A little tour of Poland. Got some Polish items there. Everything was a step above very good. I would say the chocolate-covered cherry jelly, maybe right at that very good threshold. Everything else was excellent, so I'm going to give this round of snacks a 3-star seal of approval. All right, there we go. 4 more international snacks, this time from Poland. Don't forget to check out your international markets. You never know what treasures you will find there. I will catch you next time.